There is a disturbing new trend we can report this morning. Two new reports out document an alarming rise in the number of hate groups in the United States. The Southern Poverty Law Center's intelligence report found 926 active hate groups in the country. That's up more than 50% from just 2000. Morris Dees is the founder of the Southern Poverty Law Center. He joins us from Montgomery, Alabama. Good morning, sir. Your report dovetails with a brand new report from the Department of Homeland Security claiming basically the same thing. And they say part of it is because of the election of President Obama. Other part of the responsibility goes to the deteriorating economy.
The two rallies have come face to face at Young and Richmond. Again, they are marching north. You can see that police have created a barricade here and are trying to stop this from getting violent, also trying to stop the rally from moving forward. You can see the second group here is Toronto Against Fascism. They are blocking the way. One of the groups already pushed through to the other and started marching north, so we know this is going to continue on for some time. We also know that there is a simultaneous anti-hate rally happening right now on Church Street in response to all of this. I'm just going to let you guys listen in for a second to hear what's happening here.
Kristen.
So a lot of yelling, there's been a lot of swearing here today. The one group claims it's all love, but I mean, clearly there's a lot of hatred happening here too right now. There's been a lot of swearing here today. The one group claims it's all love, but I mean, clearly there's a lot of hatred happening here too right now.
In the front it's black school. In the front it's black school.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, peace to the elect. I want to touch on this video here. I was going into doing some research on this Southern Poverty Law Center, okay? As we try to go down into the root, we already understand what the root is. But just to get some more understanding, a clear understanding on the Southern Poverty Law Center, this law center was founded in 1971, where a group of lawyers supposedly had got together, which we understand this was his propaganda tool. Okay, so anybody who comes up against this government will be labeled as an extremist. Okay, so in the process of exposing radical hate groups, they used it as a tool to control your freedom of speech. Okay, so there were always so-called hate groups. Okay. This is how it's always been. The Most High set up hate groups, And I'm not saying we are haters. We just love the truth. The truth becomes hate to certain people, okay? So we're a truth group. We're not a hate group. And if you want to say hate group, that's what the Lord told us to, let's get this scripture. This is Amos 5:15. Hate the evil and love the good. So we're supposed to hate the evil. Okay, so let me read a little bit of this. Splc was founded in 1971 to ensure the promise of civil rights movements became a reality for all. So this is the same thing they said, well, we're going to make sure everybody gets a job. We're going to make sure everybody has liberties and civil rights and everything else. And they'll say it's just not a perfect system. We can't guarantee this or that. They can guarantee so-called going to the moon, but they can't guarantee the civil rights for all. We know it's a crock of madness. Anyway, by the late 1960s, the civil rights movement had ushered in the promise of racial equality. So what they've managed to do is use our own so-called self-defense of our rights and our belief, and they've turned it and used it against us, okay? Or at least they're trying. Okay, have ushered in the promise to racial equality. as a new federal law decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court ended the Jim Crow segregation. Okay. Now, when this place was founded, okay, off of bloodshed and murder, they never restored it back to the people who originally owned it. You know, only this man can go around rape, rob, and murder, and then when all hell breaks loose, he jumps in and say, "We want to give you rights to living in conditions that you're not used to living in environments and living in and for religions that was forced upon you." Okay, so now he says, okay, it's time to change and all of us to get along. This is a connection of the New World Order to get everybody to follow one religion, one belief. And through that, you have to agree on all religions. All religions would have to agree to love one another, even though they're all different beliefs. Okay? But the resistance was strong. These laws had not yet brought the fundamental changes needed in the South. African Americans were still excluded from good jobs, decent housing, public office. You ever look in the ghettos today? So now the African Americans, so-called African Americans and Native Americans, they're all living good now because of this SPLC. Okay? So now that we're speaking in defense of the Bible and what we believe, we're considered a hate group? That's crazy. See, you only consider it a hate group when you go against a government. It becomes hateful. That's also part of correcting, also part of whatever agenda is being pushed. All you got to do is push a narrative that it's not, that is hateful for you to speak against it, and then everybody consider you a hate group. So if we speak against homosexuality and we say it's wrong, well, it's a hate group. You know? You speak anything against anybody's right to so-called freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of belief, but yet they're speaking against, when they do this, they're speaking against our freedom of speech. It's crazy. But we're considered a hate group. So whatever you want to believe, you can believe in having sex with your animal, right? And the minute you speak against it and you protest against it, you're going to be considered a hate group. You're going to be considered, it's going to be considered hate speech. That's what they do. African Americans were still excluded from good jobs, decent housing, public office, quality educations, and a range of other opportunities. You look at these ghettos, as I said before, look at these ghettos, man. Look at these, Jake, look at our people, how destroyed they are. You mean to tell me, and this is the problem with Esau and his system, you mean to tell me, after building on a system of a land of blood, killing, murder, all kinds of sicknesses, that you're going to build your kingdom on righteously? There's nothing righteous about how it was built. Okay? So let's go to another Southern Poverty Law. This is the point I wanted to get. That the Christians are now suing the Southern Poverty Law Center, okay, and showing you that they're a fraud. A lot of their statistics are made up, and they're just doing it out of bloated numbers, okay, to further the agenda of the New World Order. You don't comply with us, you're a hater of America. Okay, that's what they're saying. This is why you can, they're approving these bills of gay marriages and whatever else it is you want to do totally against the Bible. And if you speak up against it, you become a hate group. So these people, they chant Jesus, 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 right? That was another thing, another sickness, a form of sickness or idolatry worship that they pushed on us, to worship Jesus. Because with that Jesus have taught us, no matter what goes down, no matter what happens, you are to love your, your so-called enemy. You are to love whatever doctrine is being pushed on you. You are to love. Okay? So you mean to tell me a lot of you people that see the little children being molested, you love that? When you see a child get raped, okay, or you see someone take a child, okay, which we know how Hollywood get down, but I'm saying in general, y'all love that? You know? Y'all love abortions too, right? See, if you speak against abortions, you're considered a hate group too. These Christians are having a problem with that. Okay? That's why they've managed to use the hate monster to push the agenda of the New World Order. You know? So, let's go here to this article. Southern Poverty Law Center sued for defamation. Christian ministry sues over listing on Southern Poverty Law's hate map. Excerpt. It says a conversative Christian media group has slapped the Southern Poverty Law Center with a defamation lawsuit, and that's what we should have did that. I mean, you know, we don't envy our oppressor. But when you look at it, they labeled us as black Hebrew Israelites. We never said we was black Hebrew Israelites. We never said we was some black extremist militant group. We never said that. Okay? Although there's some who may have sold out to help move that along. After being listed alongside with the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists on his hate map. See, now the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists and the KKK, they were going. Now you can label them a hate group. They were going around SWAT stickering and lynching people and doing all kinds of sick stuff. Which now they're going to use the so-called black Hebrew Israelites and put them in the same perspective, the same platform. Okay. Dr. Kennedy Ministries filed a lawsuit this week on a federal court in Alabama alleging that the SPLC illegally trafficked in false and misleading descriptions of the services offered by the ministry. So what this Southern Poverty Law Center is doing is they're going to anybody that speaks up of their civil liberties. This is all designed to take your right to free speech away. Anybody who speaks up against the government and what they're doing, you're going to be considered a hate group, even if you're a Christian. Okay? You're going to be considered hate. You speak up against anything this country does, anything that Babylon accepts or Babylon pushes, you're going to be considered hate. A hate group, and that's what they're using this SPLC for. Okay, they need a front, and we know the same people who are saying that anti-Semitism is causing they're on the forefront of anti-Semitism. We know these are the same people who are more likely pushing this doctrine. Okay, the same people. And that's a front that they use, okay, to declaim or to claim that they're the people that's oppressed. And meanwhile, at the same time, the so-called anti-gun violence movement is not pushed on that level of us shooting and killing each other. But that's how they do it. This is why George Soros started the Black Lives Matter, okay? Dr. James Kennedy Ministry filed a lawsuit this week in the federal court of Alabama alleging that the SPLC illegally trafficked false and misleading description of the services offered by the ministry, subjecting it to disgrace, ridicule, odium, and contempt in the estimation of the public. These false, illegal characterizations have a chilling effect on the free exercise of religion and on religious free speech for all people of faith, okay? And that's your belief. So really what they're trying to do is take your free speech away from what you believe. Because what they're doing is they're setting up agents to go to the black conscience or don't believe in the Bible, throw the Bible off. Because once you throw the Bible off, everything that was written in that book, even some that follow it falsely, they have some form of understanding or way to walk, but they're trying to take that totally away. You go, what is this man doing? He's playing God. He's playing the most. He's trying to be the most high. Okay. Said the president of CEO Frank Wright of Wednesday statement, also named in the lawful lawsuit are Amazon and GuideStar. The ministry alleges that the online retailer has excluded it from its Amazon Smile charitable giving program. So what they're saying, that if you're listed in the SPLC, that they're going to start taking your benefits, and they're going to look at you as a terrorist. Okay, this is what they're going. This is Isaiah 5:20. It says, "Woe unto them that call good evil, and that call evil good, and good evil, that put darkness for light, and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter." And this is what is this is what's happening. Okay, this is an agenda. This is a New World Order agenda, and they're pushing this solely on taking your freedom of so-called speech. This is all that so-called NWO agenda. You know, take your liberties, take your freedom of speech, and use our own oppression against us. You know, while we are speaking out, and as I said in the other video, can you imagine if Jake followed the Hebrew Israelites, right? Number one, the pork industry would have a problem, because then Jake wouldn't be eating pork. The seafood industry, the crabs and shrimp, the Black Friday, okay, Jake wouldn't be getting up on Black Friday and celebrating Christmas. So it would put a dent in the economy if Jake woke the hell up, man. This would cause a whole lot of problems if Jake woke up to the fact that he was an Israelite. Okay? So the whole point of this video, it's all fraud, man. It's all set up. All these gimmicks and media propaganda hype that you see with black Hebrew Israelites, okay? The KKK, black Hebrew Israelite Christians, but mainly us, okay? They want our own people to hate us. That's their agenda. They want our own people to hate us so they can push this New World Order, man. So they can really ultimately push this microchip. Anybody who against the microchip, you're more likely going to be in the SPLC too. Okay? Anything that is being pushed, that this government pushes, if you go against it, you will be deemed a terrorist. Also, I want to make the point that by using this black Hebrew Israelite, that is all designed to keep us separated. Because as long as they say that we're pushing the skin color issue, then they can use that as a separation. But once we push, and I say that's a great millstone, that Israelites are going to look like a numerous amount of different people, this is a threat then. Because what this will be saying is that this truth is for everybody that knows that they're an Israelite. It doesn't matter about skin color. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.